Hey there, David Hawk here. Today what I want to do is give you a tutorial of the xTool Studio software. It used to be called XCS software. And something that I do want to let you know is those are two different softwares. So if you're still using XCS or Creative Space, it was xTool Creative Space. That's what XCS stood for. If you're still using that by chance, then I would recommend you upgrade to the xTool Studio. Still no cost. I'll put the link to get that. I think it's just xtool.com/software, I believe is the link for that download. And like I said, free download. It works on both Mac and PC, so there's no issues there. You do have to have, if you've got an older computer, you might have to look at your operating system. It's got to be a certain level of operating system and a certain level of memory. But anyway, providing you've got a computer that will handle it, you likely do. I just want to take you through this software and show you. Like I said, I wanted to do a complete tutorial, and I actually got started on a complete tutorial and realized that that video was going to be way too long. It was going to be probably a couple hours, and I didn't want to put you through that. I don't know about you, but if something goes over 30 minutes, I kind of start fading out. So what I'm going to do is just do a quick overview, or quick-ish overview of the software here, and then I'm going to do a playlist on my YouTube channel that says xTool Studio tutorial, and I'll put the other pieces in there. I'll go back and I'll do the pieces in individual videos so that you can get it and not have to take your whole day and watch the videos. So let's get into this. So the first thing I want to show you is the little green X up here. Of course, that's the main menu. The file button, of course, you can save your project or whatever, but there's a couple of things. First, you can export your file. So I like the export because you can export it in XCS format, which is going to give you the XCS file that will open up in xTool Studio. But you can also export in SVG, PNG, or JPEG format so that you can actually share your designs with anybody if you want to, or save them in whatever format you want. Also, on that file tab, you can publish to Atom. And that's xTool's store. If you haven't seen it, it's where they put their templates and things, and people upload those, and you can upload those. And actually, if you upload to the Atom store, you get some credits for AI credits and stuff for using the software itself. So that's kind of cool if you want to do that. I've done that a couple of times. Of course, edit, typical thing. Arrange, no big deal. Object, there's a few different things here. I'm going to go through that in another video. Text is kind of cool. You've got some things, weld, convert, passive. You've seen those words that all the letters are stuck together. That's weld. And then you've got convert path, help guide, user guide, and then your settings. If you want to change over from metric to inches or inches to metric, or change anything else, this is really where to do that. So check that out. It's kind of interesting, and you get a lot of, you can just kind of customize what you've got here. Further, of course, you can add text, and text, you've got a lot of text options in xTool, so you can click that button, and then you've got all kinds of different text. And as you hover over the text, your actual words will change, so you can see what it's going to look like. So that's cool. This one's a quick, if you want to add a rectangle, circle, anything like that, it's just quick to do it here. This is the part I wanted to kind of get into a little bit. Templates. I love these because you've got, well, you can just bring something in. I'm going to show you down here. We have the canvas, and the canvas I like because now you can, if you've got, say you've got multiple versions of this file that, or this file that you want to keep, you can just do a separate canvas. So now you can keep, well, I used this when I did the Halloween boxes that I made. I had 6 different variations, and I just put it in a canvas. So it was all in one file, and I just go to that canvas that I wanted to engrave that box. And so this is really handy. I like this a lot. You can rename this. It doesn't have to be Canvas 1 and 2. You can name it whatever you want. Fun file. So there we've got that. And then you can just click back and forth. So what I want to do now is go into, let's go grab a template. So let's, as of making this video, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. So you can grab this thing. There's no cost on this one. Some of these do cost money, but there's no cost on this one. Oh, something I want to let you know too about downloading these. It doesn't really matter what machine you've got as long as you can run it on the material that you want. So this, you can see this was run on using basswood, which is what most of these things are run on. So any machine will do that. So even if you don't have the S140 watt, if your machine will process basswood, you can use this file as is. So let's just open that, add to a new project. Well, I meant to put it in that canvas, but oh well. So this one brought in 2 canvases. That's cool. So you can see you get 2 pieces. You got your little backer here, and then your stand, and then your score layer, and then your, well, both of them are going to be scored, but you got your little backer layer. So that's templates. If you're looking for something, this is great for, you can go in and you can type things. You can type Halloween and it'll bring you all these different things. I bet this one's paid. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. So it's going to tell you if it's a paid for file right there. So that's templates. Check that out. There's a lot of stuff in there, and even the stuff that's paid is pretty inexpensive in there. So check that out. Of course, here you've got all these different elements. So if you want to add different things to your to your files, you can do that. They've got xTool Studio really put a lot in here. So check out all the different elements that you get. These, well, that is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to show you, you can click the see all, and then you've got all these in here. So it's a huge file of, or huge set of files for different images. This applications is really cool. The grid array, this is what I use when I make coasters. So I design the coaster, and then once you select that, you can hit grid array, and it'll do however many number of columns and rows that you want, and it puts them tight together, so it really works well on saving material. Circular array just does the same thing, but in a circle. I've never used that, by the way. Material test array, this is where you test whatever materials that you have. So if you're using leather, basswood, whatever, you can run a test grid, and material test array they call it. I always called it a test grid. And I'll do more videos on all these different applications so that you can see me do that. Code generation is cool. You can do QR codes, and you can send that to your website. Or if you're selling something, I've made these for realtors where I've got the QR codes on their keyring. So that QR code now, if you scan that, it's going to take you to the laserfilevault.com. Let's get rid of that. What else? Applications. So that was code generation. Smart nesting is cool because if you've got stuff all over your screen, it will bring it together so that you waste less material. Batch fill, obviously, you can do multiple items. I think you've got to have a camera for this to work, but I'm not positive. I've not ever used this. I've done things in batches, but I always just made a template that I laid in there, and that's how I did it. Measurements, kind of cool. So if you ever wanted to know let's say you want to know how long this base was. So you grab it, pull it down there, and then I guess I erased it. Why is that not working? There we go. Okay. Like I said, it's still early. So 10.84 inches, essentially. Let's see how close we were on that. Get rid of that. You can also just hover over the item, and there you can see it's 10.84 inches. So I don't know how useful that is, but it's kind of cool. Earrings generator, this is cool. So if you wanted to make a set of earrings, you like this one, you can import it to the canvas, and now you've got that earring that you can make. A couple of things that are brand new, and I mean new like within the last couple of days. Now they're gone. No, they're not gone. Okay, so you got a box generator, so that just makes boxes. It's kind of limited, but you can see the different boxes you can make. This one is cool. You have that folding hinge or cut hinge. That's, people really like that, I find. It's cool. I like it too. But I wanted to go into puzzles are cool. I do puzzles for realtors, so we engrave the picture of the house on a puzzle and then put that in a box very similar to that one with that hinge on the back. And people like those. So you can make this thing. I had an issue with this a minute ago. So you can see that's your puzzle. But if you wanted to add, yeah, see, I tried to add. I'm sure xTool will get this down, but let's just get out of there. I'm sure xTool will get this down. This is something new. I hadn't seen puzzles in here before, and I had not seen the ornament generator. So that's kind of interesting too. Maps Designer, these are something that I've seen online. People seem to like them. They seem to sell well. That is a paid for thing though. It's like $10 or $12 a month, depending on if you want to pay monthly or yearly. So that's that. And I have already shown you the canvas, so make sure you use these canvases. That saves me a lot of time. Of course, over here, you've got your different settings for your different items, so it's going to show you what that is, or what part of your image that is, and then why these are different. I don't know. They should be in the same file. Oh, they're set to score. Let's move that over to cut. Let's move that over to cut and see if they... Now, maybe because that one's ignored. Let's not ignore it. There. Now they're all in one file. And you can see it doesn't know. It's a power and speed are way off. So what you need to do is, if you're going to do this on basswood, you can select the material, apply, and now it's got the settings for basswood. So as long as xTool knows what kind of material you're going to be doing, you can do this on anything. There's a bamboo cutting board. So if you're going to do a bamboo cutting board, see, it changes it, although that setting will not go through a bamboo cutting board, not unless that's really thin. Let's do black acrylic, because I know you can cut acrylic. Okay, that changed it. So the others, the metal and stuff, the S1 would not cut that, so I guess it just wasn't changing the file or the speeds and stuff. So anyway, that's that. Something else I wanted to show you is, if you wanted to lay things out, I like my cut layers to be red, so you can just hover over that and then go click red, and it'll show up red. And then once you do that, if you click on either layer, it'll take you to that layer, and then you can kind of change things up too as far as speeds and stuff by layer. The other thing that I wanted to show you is this. This is framing. So if you don't know what framing is, this will actually just send the laser out, and it puts a line. It'll show you where the thing is going to process, or the laser is going to process. I shouldn't say the thing. I do that all the time. And then this down arrow, you get different settings. I just learned this weekend. You get different settings for your framing, and that varies per machine, I've found. So you can make the light brighter, I know, on the F1, and various things. So check out that down arrow on your framing button and see what kind of settings you might be able to use. It can come in handy. This is something, if xTool knows or has the material, if there's no material selected, it won't do this. But if the material is selected and you do a preview, it will actually show you. And I don't see any reason for this other than it's just cool. But you can see what it's going to do and how it's going to come out. So that is just kind of cool. Anyway, that's that. I think that's it. Of course, you know the measure button. This is going to measure your laser head down to the material, and then of course mark your processing area. Again, this is for the S1. Some other lasers may not have this, or may not need to do this. Oh, processing. So what are you going to process on? Most things are going to be the base plate, most likely, but you've also got the rotary tool. If you're doing a curved surface, you can set it for this one. If you've got a conveyor, all this is going to be different per machine too. And then the screen preparation, if you've got that particular item, then you can select that. So I think that's it. That's the overall look. Oh, up here you've got device settings. There's some things in there that, well, it's just going to try and connect, and it's not going to connect right now. But you can go into settings and do some different things. That's where I wound up turning off my fire, what they call it. I called it a fire alarm. They called it fire something else. Anyway, I had a problem with the alarm alerting me when there was no fire. It was telling me there was a fire. So that's where I did that. I guess that's it. If you've got any questions, please ask them in the comments. I'm happy to share anything that I know with you all. And if you know anybody that this video might help, please share it with them. Also, I'm going to do all these other videos. I think I said earlier in the video, if I didn't, I'm going to do a, what do they call that? xTool Studio tutorial playlist in the YouTube channel. So check those out. They will be coming out. I'm going to do those in succession so that we can get those done. And there's a pretty in-depth overview of xTool Studio software. Like I said, used to be XCS, and you can learn how to use it, because not most things I learned to use myself just by using it, and just get in there and play with it. It's hard to mess things up, honestly. I mean, xTool's pretty good about telling you if you've got low speeds and stuff, what to be careful of and that kind of thing. I don't think I hit the AI button. I think I passed right over that, but it'll make you whatever you want. So if you enter that you want, again, whatever, I don't know, a Christmas ornament with Santa and 3 reindeer, type that in there, and I guess it would just do it. It is going to cost you credits. So the AI stuff costs you typically 6 credits in xTool Studio. So anyway, that's it. I hope you have a great day. Oh, if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do that. It helps the channel, and it makes me feel good when somebody has liked the video or even subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate that. And if you've got anything that you've made or any suggestions that might help people, please leave those in the comments too. Happy to share everybody's information here. I really want this to be a great channel for using xTool software and xTool machines. So I will talk to you soon. Have a great day. See you next time. Bye.